Titleist have brought out a new Pro V1 and Pro V1x for 2015. After the feedback they received from their sort of army of tour players, what Titleist decided that they'd try and do with this new golf ball was to introduce a new urethane cover. That was done to make the golf ball a little bit softer and a little bit more spinny, particularly around the greens. So they've got this new thermoset urethane elastomer that they've brought into the new golf ball that should do those things for it. Following on from the Titleist sort of philosophy where you start at the green and work back towards the tee, I'm going to go through the process of fitting myself for the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1x. Now this is something that anyone out there can do. All you have to do is buy probably a dozen of each, throw them down by the green and hit a whole host of different shots, then work your way back towards the tee and see which performance from which ball you prefer most. Let's give it a go. So the first port of call is the putting green, and I'm going to start with the Pro V1x, move on to the Pro V1 and see what the differences are in terms of the feel that I'm getting off the putter face. So I'm sort of starting with a fairly flat 15 or so footer, Pro V1x. Now I am used to using the Pro V1x, that's the ball I've played now for quite a few years, so it's a feel off the putter that I am familiar with. It does feel a fraction softer, I think, the 2015 version than the previous golf ball. Yeah, that's pretty much as I would expect. So let me hit a few Pro V1 putts. Yeah, and as they would say, it's definitely a little bit softer off the blade, which is obviously a great thing when you're looking for as much feel as you can get on the greens, but in particular when you're playing on greens like this that are so fast. We're at Lumine Golf Club in Spain and these greens are ultra slick, so having that little bit of extra feel and that little bit of more of a soft strike on the greens is great. I can kind of see the performance benefits to me of both balls in this scenario. Okay, so I've done a whole host of short game testing now, from the bunker to various different chipping positions around the green. And there's no doubt in my mind that I was actually getting better performance from the Pro V1 than the Pro V1x. I know that won't come as much of a surprise because it's a little bit softer around the greens, but I felt as if I was maybe even getting a little bit more spin with it on those short game shots, giving me a little bit more control. As a quick comparison, what I want to do is hit a couple of shots with the Pro V1 and then a couple of shots with a velocity golf ball, and just to see how the two golf balls differ when they hit the green, because I suspect that obviously the Pro V1 with its urethane cover, £51 per dozen RRP, is going to spin quite a bit more than the velocity down at £25 per dozen. So it'll be very interesting to see how the two react. So yeah, that's the Pro V1. As you can see, that sort of span, even though the green's incredibly firm, that span a little bit on the second bounce, and that really has given me a bit of control, even only for a shot that's only 30 or so yards. It's not a long shot, so not a lot of club heads being created, but still a good amount of spin there from the Pro V1. Let's see how the velocity does by comparison. I'll try and hit a similar shot as I possibly can. Yeah, I think you can see really there the difference between the two golf balls. The velocity really pitched in a similar sort of area to the Pro V1, but absolutely no spin when it landed, and that's the difference really. With the Pro V1, you're paying £50 per dozen, but what you're getting is the best urethane cover that the company offer, and it's around the greens, it's with these little shots that you really notice the difference. It's these little spinny ones that you can hit that give you that little bit of control. With the velocity, as good and as solid a golf ball as it is, you can just see how much less spin I was able to generate with that, and ultimately how much less control as well. We've come back out this morning and we're going to put a little bit more testing together. We're starting at a very comfortable pitching distance. Now for me, that's about 80 yards. And I'm using a 54-degree Vokey. There's been a heavy dew overnight and the greens are a lot softer. So I've hit a couple of shots already this morning, and the difference in spin this morning over what I was getting last night is going to be quite marked, but that should actually help us to see any differences between Pro V1 and Pro V1x. So I'm going to start with the Pro V1x, hit a few shots and see what the differences are, both in terms of the launch and the spin that it's getting when I hit the green. Okay, so that's spun quite a bit. I'm going to hit Other. Yeah, Pro V1. Let's see how that's spinning. Having just hit a series of full pitch shots, what I'd say is that I wouldn't probably base my decision about which golf ball to play on that one, because both golf balls were offering very, very good control. Probably, if anything, prefer the flight that I was getting from the Pro V1x, but it was very similar. Both of the golf balls spinning just as you'd want them to. So we've moved a little bit further out to about 155. I've got a Mizuno JPX 850 8-iron. I'm going to hit a few mid-iron shots into this green just to see what the differences are. And the key thing to notice here is about how the golf ball is flying through the air. So do I prefer the flight of the Pro V1 or the Pro V1x? We'll start with Pro V1x. So I just finished up my own testing of the new Pro V1 and Pro V1x golf balls by hitting a few shots off the tee. And I think it's fair to say that my own inconsistencies of strike from the tee would affect the way that the golf ball performs. So those ones that are slightly out of the bottom of the club or out of the toe, they do spin a bit more, and it makes it very difficult for me to say with any great deal of certainty that one ball is performing better than the other. I do suspect, both from the tee and with the mid-iron shots that I hit, that I prefer the ball flight of the Pro V1x over the Pro V1. But certainly from the testing I did yesterday, I much preferred the softer feel that you get from the Pro V1 around the greens. And Titleist would say that that's where I should make my choice of golf ball. So having been through this process, and it's something that I would advise anybody to do. As I said yesterday, it's really, really good fun, and it's a really good insight into which ball you should be playing. So instead of just going into your bag and pulling out any old golf ball that you find and using that, actually having a golf ball choice that you know is right for you is only going to give you confidence in your golf game. And for me, I think it would be the Pro V1. I think that's the big finding that I've had from this experience is finding out that actually that feel around the greens of the Pro V1 is better, and it has given me a little bit more confidence on those little chip shots, knowing that I can get a little bit more spin, a little bit more control, should help me to score better. So the new Pro V1 and Pro V1x golf balls come with a price tag of £51 per dozen. That is very expensive, but what you get is a urethane covered golf ball that performs really, really well off the tee in terms of offering you great distance, but the best in short game feel. And if you do want to get your scores down, you should really think about using a urethane covered golf ball to help you do that. So both the Pro V1 and Pro V1x are great golf balls, but only by putting them down and testing them side by side are you really going to find out which one's right for your game.